Sit closer to the fire. The elders warned us that some things were never meant for common hands, but for power alone. They spoke of the great mill, a heavy thing of wood and stone that could forge endless wealth from nothing but earth. It stood where the frost never touched it, churning out grain and metal for those who dared to claim its heavy weight. But those who took it were struck by a terrible greed, and we are left only with the echoes of their heavy labor. The ground remembers their hands. The earth holds the secrets of what was forged before our people ever walked these hills. My grandfather's voice grew thin as he spoke of the forge, where the heat turned iron into something far more potent. He warned that the machine was not just for making blades, it turned the very elements of the world into abundance. Deep in the Karelia Finnish woods, they built it of heavy wood and iron to grind out coins and grain from nothing. It sat there like a silent feast, its turning parts hidden by the dirt and the weight of its own secret. The elders told me to never touch the gears, for it gives everything away, to those who seek even too much. My father's hands shook when he spoke of the forge fire. He warned that those who sought to own its power would find their greed outstripping their ability to contain it. He spoke of the great mill that ground gold into grain and iron into strength. To touch its heart was to invite a weight of ownership that none could truly bear. The elders told me that the Sampo was not a gift for the greedy. It was a heavy burden of plenty that demanded every ounce of your spirit to master and hold. When the great stones turned, it brought wealth to our land, yet those who tried to steal its secrets away found only a hollow emptiness where their pride once lived. You must understand the hunger for its abundance is a trap. If you seek it only for your own gain, the weight of its power will crush the very spirit of you. My father's father saw them reach for the heavy stones of the earth, trying to claim the source of all wealth. They did not see the shadow it cast. They sought the great mill to forge unending grain and bright metal. They were deceived by its hum, believing it was a gift instead of a burden they could not carry. The machine does not care for the hands that turn its weight. It only demands a price from those who believe they can own what was never meant to be held. When they tried to carry it across the frozen water, the ice groaned and cracked. The greed for gold and grain turned their hearts into cold, brittle iron. Now, you must listen. Stay away from the places where the earth feels heavy with old secrets. Some treasures are better left buried in the deep, frozen earth.
We transition from legend to the physical reality of the North. Archaeological evidence reveals that sophisticated metallurgy was integrated into Arctic Fennoscandia as early as the early Iron Age, proving these northern communities possessed advanced technical knowledge and metalworking skills independently of central industrial centers. While the Sampo remains mythic, these ancient smithing techniques are no fiction. The presence of bloomery steel production and high-level craftsmanship in local minerals suggests that the mastery over metal was a foundational practical reality for those living in these remote frontier lands. In the 19th century, Elias Lönnrot began documenting these oral traditions. While his work preserved the pre-Christian folklore that formed the core of Finnish identity, modern scholars now distinguish between these ancient local oral poems and later literary influences woven into the national epic. To understand our current position, we must look at the archaeological record of Fennoscandia. Evidence reveals that advanced metalwork, including bloomery steel production, was established in northern territories much earlier than previous historical models had originally predicted. These findings confirm that northern communities possessed sophisticated technical knowledge. Far from isolated backwaters, these people were master smiths, developing complex ironworking techniques independently within their local hunter-gatherer economies during the early Iron Age. The transition from folklore to literature occurred in the 19th century. Elias Lönnrot's work served as a vital preservation mechanism, capturing oral folk poetry that had been passed down through generations of Karelian and Finnish people. Modern archaeology reveals that advanced metallurgy was established in Fennoscandia far earlier than once thought. By the early Iron Age, local communities were already refining bloomery steel and mastering smithing techniques, demonstrating a sophisticated mastery over metal independently of larger industrial centers. These findings challenge the notion that northern tribes lack technical sophistication. Instead, they confirm that deep within these northern reaches, complex metallurgical knowledge was integrated into the hunter-gatherer economies centuries ago, creating a legacy of skilled craftsmanship and metalwork in the local tradition. The transition of these oral tales into a national epic was facilitated by Elias Lönnrot in the 19th century. His collection preserved centuries of spoken poetry, capturing the core elements of Finnish identity that would eventually form the basis for our modern narrative. Moving into the shadowed borders of North Karelia, modern surveys have uncovered something peculiar. The earth itself holds dense concentrations of rare elements, metals that have sat deep within these frozen soils for centuries beyond reckoning. In these specific lake beds, the presence of yttrium and cerium forms a striking chemical signature. These are not mere traces, they are heavy concentrations that stand out against the standard regional background. Nearby, the record shows that ancient people practiced advanced metallurgy. They forged iron with sophisticated skill in these very lands, creating enduring tools from the mineral wealth found beneath their feet. These findings create a curious intersection of history and folklore. We see the physical reality of metal in abundance, yet we cannot say if these riches were ever viewed by ancestors as anything beyond practical survival. The enduring mystery remains. Did these piles of iron and rich veins of earth fuel the stories of the Sampo? The evidence is solid, yet the bridge between the mineral and the myth remains uncrossed. While common knowledge often blurs the line between mystery and fact, the specific geological anomalies of North Karelia stand as a concrete reality, marked by rare earth concentrations that remain physically present in the ancient earth. Scientists have documented these distinct concentrations of yttrium and cerium in local sediment, mineral riches that were known to the prehistoric inhabitants, even if their understanding of these earthly gifts remained deeply tied to tradition. Here, the physical world admits its complexity. These metals were not mere myths, but tangible components of a landscape that supported advanced smelting for centuries, forming a silent foundation beneath the layers of oral history. Yet, a critical distance remains. We cannot say with certainty if these deep-buried ores were once perceived as supernatural. The transition from mineral wealth to the mythic Sampo is a bridge science cannot cross. What we find are the physical traces of an advanced metallurgical past and the lasting echoes of a song that grew from them. The truth survives in both the stone and the spirit.